Southwest 1772, right turn to 130, contact departure 118.4.
South 1772.
How's it going, guys? Today I'm flying in a Cessna 152 over the city of Dubai. We're gonna be landing in a few minutes. This is a pretty good weather to fly, but actually this is not real. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's take a look at this new simulator.
Microsoft Flight Simulator has been released after this long wait. And professional pilots and aviation lovers are super excited to have this new flight simulator. We can finally fly around the world with realistic graphics from the comfort of our homes. The best part is that you can get the standard version by subscribing to the new PC Xbox Game Pass, where you pay just €1 the first month and €4 a month afterwards. The standard version includes a good amount of airplanes and handcrafted airports, not like the ones produced automatically by an artificial intelligence, which generates a lot of glitches. I understand that generating the terrain for the whole globe is a big task, but let's take a look at some of the funny glitches that you can find. Like this highway, it goes under a river and the cars still pass over it. Or some trucks going back and forth in a short distance in some streets. But anyways, we're not using this simulator to take a look at these small details. We're here to have fun. If you don't want the Xbox Game Pass, you can also buy the license of each individual product, like if you want also to upgrade to the Deluxe or the Deluxe Premium versions, which include more airplanes and handcrafted airports. And yeah, I know. At this point, you already know all of that because there are tons of videos on the internet explaining all of that. They just repeat themselves. But anyways, we're here today to take a look at some of the things that you can do with this simulator, especially the interesting things, like the animals that you can see in some places, like in Africa. You can fly over them and see them in action, or the amazing graphics that these simulator have, the real-time customization of the weather. You'll see some tricks and in general the whole thing that we are here for, which is the overall experience in this simulator. So let's answer this question. What can we do in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator? Well, basically flying airplanes with the best realistic physics and graphics. Although some critics say that the physics are not quite real, but I'm not sure about that. I think it's a lot better than the last version. The creators have rebuilt the whole physics system and weather systems and everything to make it as real as possible, as in real life. They have thought about many elements like friction, aerodynamics, the airflow around mountains and buildings, which generate turbulence, and many other things that I don't even know. I know there are many other flight simulators, but this one has a very good price and is new, so why not try it? I like the new improvements like the turbulence created behind mountains in certain wind directions, the storms, and that the rain is more realistic and is falling only where there is more clouds, and that's how it happens in real life. Also the rains move with the wind and so on, so it's very realistic in the weather system. But what I'm wondering now is how thermals are going to be, but I cannot talk about that yet because gliders or sailplanes are not available in this release. Now let's talk about the graphics, and a big part of that is the terrain, because the whole planet is represented by satellite pictures, then processed by an AI, which then creates buildings, streets, trees, and all of the elements that makes the terrain more real. The AI does a good job at generating all of these elements to make the whole planet more realistic, but of course there's still some issues with the glitches that I showed you before. But it really doesn't matter because we're not supposed to be flying at low altitudes most of the times. The most iconic landmarks have a better finishing for a best experience when visiting those places. Inside the cockpits, most buttons and knobs are clickable, so you can select and do whatever you want, just like in a real airplane. The graphics inside the cockpits are excellent. If you have a good graphics card and you have the high settings, all the elements in the cockpit will look extremely real. If we talk about the flight modes, we have plenty of options. Starting with the globe itself, you can select anywhere to fly, you can choose live weather conditions or you can select your own, and you have many kind of challenges like landing in very stormy weather conditions, you can do bush trips, take flight lessons, and there is also animals in some places. If you type Fauna in the search bar, it will tell you the locations where you can find some animals like elephants, flamingos, and some others. Just make sure to have activated the option of navigation aid on, because it's very hard to find these animals in wildlife because they look very small from the air. Once I took the camera closer to these animals, I was surprised on how much detail they have. They have great textures and animations. And although you won't find them everywhere around the world, they're a very good addition to this simulator. Then I tried flying over the city of Barcelona, a place where I've visited several times and I know some places, so I just wanted to check if those places are represented in detail. And they are there, but when I was flying over the city, there were so many buildings that my frame rate dropped below 20 frames per second, even reaching 15 frames per second, so my graphic card wasn't handling it that well. One solution for that is to lower the graphic settings, but I prefer to have a good quality experience, although the frame rate is very low. So once I was out of this big city, the frame rate went up again. Remember that the most important thing to have a good experience here will be the graphic card, not the processor. So I might have to upgrade my graphics card in the future to have a better experience with this simulator, but for now I'm pretty okay with my setup. Now let's talk about some of the improvements that I really like changing the time and weather in real time. So you don't have to go out and wait for the game to load again, but you can do that in real time and you can see the changes. And if you activate the developer mode, you can open a small window called Aircraft Selector. So you can select any aircraft you want in real time, so it just takes few seconds to load, and it's a lot better than having to go back and wait for the whole game and map to load. That's definitely an improvement. Let's wrap up with some of my conclusions. In general, I think this is a great simulator. I love how it looks, the graphics are excellent, and the physics simulation is okay. I don't know why people is saying that it is not real, but anyways, I really like it. Of course, there is still a lot of work to be done in this version. There is no replays, so you can't record any flight and then play it back. Also, I would like to have better control over the cameras to have better views, but I guess that's something that will come together with the replays. There's still no support for VR and track IR systems, so I have to use my mouse to look around, which is very unfortunate. No gliders or helicopters yet, but I guess that will be included in the next versions, and you'll be able to buy extra aircraft separately, but until then we have to wait a little bit more. Part of the work that needs to be improved is in the big cities, where there is a lot of structures that are not there as they should. Like in this case, the river doesn't have a bridge and the cars just go by the river in front of the Eiffel Tower. And that happens also in many other places like London. I'm not sure if that's going to be improved in the future, but that's a very interesting point. Guys, I hope you liked this video. Leave in the comments what do you think should be improved in this simulator and what do you think about the simulator itself. I'll see you in another video.